Yo. Welcome, guys, to the Cultivate and Keep podcast. It's Corey and Jeremy.
Yo.
What's up, Corey? What's happening?
Nothing much, man.
Yeah?
Just chilling.
Just chilling?
Yeah.
On a Tuesday?
That's right, on a Tuesday.
That's good.
Early Tuesday.
Any announcements or anything we want to share?
I don't think so, other than to give us a rating and review. I feel like we've been kind of slacking on that, but it would be greatly appreciated if you can, especially if you're listening on your phone on using the Apple Podcast app. If you can go into the podcast, you'll see ratings and reviews. You'll see a button there that says write a review, and you can even just give us 5 stars. You don't have to say anything, or you can put an extra star in there for that 6 stars. That would be ideal. But I think that's all we got.
Yeah, I feel like I never do that. I don't know why. And it's funny. For my business, I'm always asking people, "Hey, write me a review."
I know we gotta
give me stars.
But
when I'm asked to, I don't know why. It's just easy to I don't want to.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you feel inclined, that'd be helpful.
It would go a long way for us.
It really would. So
it's interesting. Apple's kind of way of ranking podcasts and showing podcasts to more people, getting them in the new and noteworthy or the popular or whatever. It's still a really old, they haven't really updated kind of their method or the algorithm for doing it in a long time. And ratings and reviews are still one of the primary factors. So everyone counts for us. Everyone helps. And again, it would go a long way for us.
Cool. We should go review our own.
We should. I already left one.
Cool.
Yeah, you should.
Okay. Maybe when you're talking on this episode,
okay.
I'll jump in. Cool. Well, hey, we wanted to do a mid-year in review. So we did one at the end of last year. We did a year in review where we asked 3 questions: what went well, what didn't go so well, and what did you learn? Was kind of what we followed, and so we thought it'd be fun to do a 6 months into the year, kind of just recap how it's been so far. So that's what we're gonna do today. Yeah,
I feel it's good because I was sort of thinking man, I need to do more reflection and I want to know. I don't know. I sort of didn't. We talked a little bit before. I think in in the last year in review that we did for 2018 about how it feels good to do it, but we didn't want to do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But now I think I don't want to just do go the whole year without kind of reflecting, and then come to the end and then have to go dig back and kind of think I want to kind of the halfway point. I feel is a good point to stop and say, am I on the right direction? Am I what are the areas that I need to pick up the slack? And just take that time to reflect, because now we have another 6 months. This is coming out in July, so we have another 6 months to make it count for the year and to see it through.
Yeah, and I feel recently I've been thinking a lot about measuring and what you don't measure. It's hard to know where you landed and how you did, and so I just feel kind of like you said, a mid-year, measuring, a mid-year, kind of looking back how stuff is going. You have time to make adjustments rather than at the end of the year saying man, this whole section really sucked or this went really well. Now we have time to fix it. And it's not I don't know. I hate looking at year by year my life, but I mean it's a great way to kind of put a time limit on stuff and whatnot. So.
Yeah. Well, I feel I don't know about you, but the last 6 months for me have just flown by.
Yeah,
I mean it's just crazy. It's insane how fast it's going.
Yeah.
I mean it's June. I feel like I still felt kind of in control and I knew kind of the pace I was going at in March. So I'm still thinking. I still feel it's March when it's 3 months later.
You know when
June.
you're on vacation or you have a really good week ahead of you and you think man, this is never gonna end. This is gonna be when this vacation starts or this weekend starts. It's gonna take forever to get to Monday, whatever, and then before you know it's over. I felt so with our business we book events, right? 6 months out, a year out. And so I'm constantly looking at the calendar, constantly looking at what's to come. And I remember last week we had 2 events that when I booked them last year, I remember thinking to myself man, it's going to suck doing those. Those are so big. And I remember thinking it's going to take forever for those to get here. Before I knew it, it's already passed. And that was last weekend. And so it's just funny how we kind of trick our minds to think, oh, that's never going to come, or, oh, that's going to, last longer than it will. And then before you know it, it's over.
And it's already there. Yeah.
Anyway, so let's jump into it. So I guess I'll do one and you can do one. We'll kind of just go back and forth.
We'll go in order. So we'll start with what has gone well so far, and then we'll go into what hasn't gone so well, and then we'll go into what we learned. So we'll start and kind of go back and forth on what went well so far, right? Start with the good.
Yeah, I also want to say as we go through this, for you guys listening, think through your life, what's going well, what's not, and like what have you learned, and then kind of reflect. Well, for me, the first one I put down was being married. That has been really good. I figured that should be number one. So, we got married January 19th, and so pretty much the start of the year. It's flown by. When this comes out, we'll have been married for almost 6 full months, close to that.
Yeah.
It's going really well. I kind of thought before we got married that it was going to fix a lot of stuff in my life, and I don't mean like fix me or Connie would be fixed. That's not what I mean. I mean more of like I thought it would be like more routine in our life, or that we would, we would eat healthier because we're, making dinners more. We would save money because we're living together. All these, different ideas that I had, and I've kind of found like all those negative things I thought would be fixed. I feel like they've improved, but only because like we've been intentional about that, and I've kind of learned like being married doesn't fix those bad habits. If anything, it makes it easier to like, slouch back into those. Overall, being married has been great, and I absolutely love it. I don't know, it's weird. Like, I don't feel like I take it for granted, but like just small things, like when you're dating, I kind of always having to plan out the week, like where you're gonna be and when you can see each other, driving home at the end of the night, stuff like that. That now we just don't even think about, and it's just really good. Overall, it's been great, and very little to no complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, it is crazy to think 6 months already, like, and that's cool. I it's pretty cool that we're kind of close. You got married in January. I got married in February. I feel like it's kind of cool, like in the beginning of the year to get married, because then you can always look back. I don't know, it's easier to keep track too. But first 6 months are fun, and I'm sure you guys learned a lot too. Yeah. Well, on a similar vein, we had our 1 year anniversary in February. Which is also crazy to think, like, I don't know. I mean, on the time flies by thread, like a year being married. I don't know. It felt like still, I can still feel it in me, feeling like, oh my gosh, are we ever going to get married? Like, it feels so far away. It feels like, I mean, our engagement too, when, we were engaged for a year, and it felt like the longest year of our lives. So now to have been married for a year, and, now almost like a year and a half, it's like, wow. I don't know. I'm sort of thinking like, geez, I mean, we're going to be married for 5 years before you know it. We're going to be married for 10 years. We're going to have, I don't know, like our 20, I don't know. It just seems like it's getting faster and faster. So, and like on my birthday just a few weeks ago, I was a little sad, to be honest, because, turning 24, I don't know. I kept thinking back to when I was a lot younger, like in high school, or even, 21, 22, and thinking about what I wanted my life to look like at 24, 25. And Max, shut it, dude. Just feeling like I'm really proud of where I'm at and where we're at, but also like there's a lot more that I want to come, and like it just feels like life, I don't know, is going by really fast. And like I don't want to miss out on our marriage, and I don't want time to go by so far and to feel like, wow, I can't even believe that we've been married for a year. I want it to feel like, wow, that was a really like rich, full, last year of marriage, and now I'm looking forward to the next one. Like I feel like I need to catch up a little bit. Yeah. But anyways, our first year anniversary was awesome. It was great to celebrate that. We went to Palm Springs to celebrate it, and it feels good to, we're not really like newlyweds anymore. We feel like very mature, and overall, being married is amazing. So,
cool. Put down eating healthy, or for the most part, being healthier.
For the most part.
Yeah. And obviously props to Connie, because she does the majority of, the food planning and cooking and whatnot. I've also like done a lot more cooking myself, which I never thought I would do. I've always been really strong with breakfast. I'm kind of like a eggs, bacon, and like that's all I can really make. But I've always been good, and more recently I've kind of been expanding my arsenal. So made a few dinners. My go-to,
really,
dude, my go-to.
Dinners are sophisticated. Like.
Well, let me tell you what I do first.
Maybe not.
So I love sauteing vegetables. I don't know why. I just really enjoy it. Like onions, peppers, tomatoes, like whatever I can get my hands on. Just throw it in the pan. Add my seasonings. I kind of have my go-tos.
Oh no.
Okay, I got a few for you.
Ketchup?
Salt, pepper. Ketchup? No, bro.
I don't know. You're a guy. You never know.
Okay, side note. I also add a garnish now to my plates, which is...
What?
Yeah, dude. Connie made breakfast a couple weeks ago, and she put like... I don't know what it was, like a bunch of stuff, but then the garnish was like slices of oranges, and I was like, oh, wow, that's like It adds a nice touch. Also, eating.
Does it though?
Eating out
it's
of
such a white person thing.
I've always eaten off of paper plates my whole life.
Yeah.
I don't want to do dishes. I don't care. But she does like every meal on like a plate, and I feel like it adds like a nice touch.
That definitely adds to it.
I feel like that's enhanced my cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm kind of just messing around, but overall, we've been eating healthier, which has been good. I was gonna say like I feel healthier, like overall. Like I would say probably the most healthy I've ever felt. I feel good.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is, but I feel like last couple of years I always felt tired, and I always felt just like drained of energy, and oftentimes I would feel like dizzy or just like not good. And dude, like the last 6 months, I don't know why, I feel good. I feel like less junk food, less sugar, more water and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So my body feels really good. So yeah.
That's good. Well, that's funny. I feel like I'm not as far along as you. I haven't cooked any dinners yet, which I'm regretful about. Why?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know why. I just feel like you would do that and do it well.
Maybe I could, but I've never cooked before.
Either have I. Well, I think for me, the reason why I've had to is because there was one night where like Connie, I think she kind of tricked me. She was planning to make dinner. She was running late, and she said, "Hey, can you get food started?" And I was like, and I was like, okay, what do I do? And I think we were having like chicken and like vegetables and some other stuff. And she kind of just like walked me through it. I was all right, I'll just try it. So I just started doing it, and it was actually really easy, and it turned out really good. So I was like, man, like I enjoyed it. Like throwing a podcast, like Max was running around, and I made dinner, bro. So
that's nice.
So anyway, let Monique trick you into making dinner.
Okay, and I'll have to force her to trick me more often. Yeah. So. Also in a similar, so basically it's the exact same thing. Like, definitely eating healthier, especially since I feel like I'm just going to copy this whole podcast. Monique has been doing this challenge with her gym, and a part of that is doing like a diet, which she's been really great about. So I'm basically like eating all the same things as her. But also to that, I've always made breakfast. I mean, since I've been, I don't know, actually, I guess it's coming up in like 20 years. I've made a smoothie every day for breakfast. I feel
like that comes up every podcast.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm like a vegan, like I have to talk about it, but instead it's like smoothies. Anyways, the breakfast I've had down, but dinner I've never made. But recently I've been making myself more like lunches. And so I have like my 3 go-to meals now. Eggs and sausage and toast.
Hold on, let me guess. I got this. So
okay.
That's no one.
That's one of them.
Number 2 is a salad.
No, not a salad.
It was last week.
Oh, no, you're right. Well, I do like a chicken salad, and it's more chicken than salad.
So it's a salad.
Yeah.
Number 3, tuna sandwich.
Tuna sandwich.
Boom.
That is.
That's nasty, by the way. It's real
Why?
Gross. So gross.
You don't like tuna?
So gross. I love like raw tuna, like raw fish, but I hate like tuna in a can. Is that what it is? Like
yeah.
Yeah, I hate it.
What?
Nasty.
It's the only fish that doesn't taste like fish.
You are...
I don't like I sort of like salmon. Every other fish don't like. Tuna doesn't even taste that much like fish.
Maybe it's the can, because like a couple weeks ago Connie got like canned salmon, and she put it on like a bagel with like stuff on it, whatever. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
but
like lox.
I didn't like it being in a can. It like reminded me of tuna. It was kind of nasty. I didn't like it.
Okay, well listen though. Here's how I make my tuna sandwiches. So you take the tuna, right? You put it in the bowl. And then you mix in your seasonings right away. So I like to put a little salt, a little pepper, and a little lemon chili seasoning, which gives it
from
nice
Trader Joe's.
Yeah, from Trader Joe's.
Yep, got that too.
Shout out to Joe,
the trader.
The trader. And then you put mayonnaise and mustard. I don't know if you put like a lot of like
I hate mayonnaise.
Condiments in there. Really?
I
don't like mayonnaise that much. I love mustard.
I know, but it. Yeah, man.
But then it gives it then it's not so like chewy and like gross. I didn't put enough in the other day, and I was eating it. I was like, this is gross. I don't like this at all. But I ate it anyways because I wanted to. I was hungry. Anyways, also on the eggs, though, back on that, I've gotten some good variety. So I know how to – so I'll either do like whole eggs or I'll do egg whites. Sometimes I'll do an omelet, sometimes scrambled, sometimes sunny side up. Toast is either like a wheat toast or it's like a naan bread. So there's some good variety there.
Let me get in the game. So before I was only like scrambled eggs. That was it.
Yeah.
And I'm talking scrambled eggs, salt and pepper, like a little bit of cheese. That's it.
Yeah.
More recently, I've been getting to my egg scrambles. So, dude, I'm telling you, man.
Like an omelet?
That's not like an omelet form, but probably the same concept.
Right.
Just scrambled eggs, and I'll throw in like tomatoes, onion, peppers, spinach sometimes, like whatever I can find, just
nice.
throw it in there. Dude, it's really good. Also, I've been going hard with my over easy eggs, and I can even flip it now without it breaking. So
what?
Pretty
Flipping
big.
an over easy egg?
Yeah, dude, I was.
Isn't that technically over medium?
That's funny. So at first I was doing like, what's the really cooked version?
Over hard.
I was doing over hard. No, I meant to do over easy.
Where like it doesn't even sip out. It's just
what
like
I would do. I would
hard.
cook it and then I would flip it, and then most of the time it would break, and then I would just cook it too long, and Connie would always not be happy with it. So what I do now is cook it, and then I flip it, and then immediately turn off the heat.
Oh.
And I let it sit for like a minute, and that way I just barely like. Does I call it like a sear? I don't know, like a pan sear.
I don't know, dude. I
but
don't
it
know
like
any of the terms.
lightly cooks it, and then
it just like warms it.
Toss it on some sourdough toast with a little bit of butter on it.
Ooh.
Fire. And some Cholula. Good.
Yeah, Cholula's good. So, anyways, eating healthy. I feel good. We've been kind of on and off, and it's like, we're doing really good. But then there's like a weekend where there's pizza or travel somewhere and kind of getting that to a little bit. But definitely been eating healthier and feel better. Like on the same kind of vein as that too, like working out more consistently. So I've been doing like 3 to 4 times a week. I'll do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, like weightlifting, and then Wednesday night usually playing basketball. And that's been working really well. Like feel good, like losing inches and gaining inches in the right places. And so yeah, that's a win.
It's good. Number 3 for me, we got a puppy,
Maximus,
and
who was barking.
And I honestly think that was so far has been the best choice of the year. I mean, he's my guy.
Besides choosing to marry Connie.
Yes, correct.
Well, there, easy.
Dude, he is awesome, and this is kind of like a lighthearted one, but honestly, he makes me like more happy. Like I don't know why, dude. Like he's my homie. Like we're tight. I mean, I work from home every day, and so he's like side by side everywhere I go, and he's so cute. So
he's pretty cute. I
love Max. He's my guy.
He's your guy.
So get a puppy if you don't have one, and if you are sad.
I'm really glad
I wasn't
to
sad
see,
before, but
yeah, I'm really glad to see that Max is added to your life.
Yes.
I was a little scared at first because there's 2 types of people that get dogs. There's people that are like crazy obsessed with dogs, and then there's people who don't really like dogs but have them anyways and end up getting rid of them later. And I felt you were going to be like
I thought I was too, because I've never liked dogs.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely the overly obsessed dog owner.
I think it's pretty clear which bucket you're in now.
At least I'm not like all over like Instagram and all that kind of stuff.
That's true.
If I was like a social media person, I for sure would be. But
would you ever make him an Instagram account?
Absolutely not.
No.
You did, right?
Yeah. Sir Remington the Pug. Go give him a follow. Monique manages it. I don't do anything with it.
You're co-manager.
Yeah, co-manager. I'm just like the financial sponsor of it. Yeah, definitely. Max was a good choice. Well done. The next one for me is on work. So it kind of started the year essentially. So I started my new job at Barometrics in December. So I've kind of had like the year of like a new job. I mean, it's been about 6 months now, 7 months by the time this comes out, which is also crazy to think about that it's been already that long on the job. But it's been a ton of fun and like a lot of challenges, like I think a really great decision for me, and like really glad and really confident in the choice that I made to go pursue it. Meeting goals, like it's fun seeing numbers go up in the right every month. And the team morale, like doing a lot of exciting things, getting to know the team, like it's just such a fun environment. We're a software development company at the core of it. And there's 8 of us, and we all work remotely from home. In a bunch of different time zones across the world. And so it's a lot of fun just being like one team. Like there's no departments, there's no, like hierarchy or managers. Like we just function as one team, which I think is just like the funnest.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I wouldn't have it any other way. And so we're doing a lot of really fun stuff, really exciting for the future, growing professionally and like learning a lot, but also like making a ton of really awesome connections and networking. I feel really fortunate because Barometrics has such a great kind of brand and reputation in the space. And then me coming on as the head of growth, I kind of just like
I'm like launched.
Yeah, I'm just leeching on, and like basically I just kind of take on the brand. So it's been really helpful for me and getting to know a lot of people. I mean, I have like a call or 2 a week with a marketer or a founder at someone that I've never met before, but who are like, hey, like love what you're doing. Would love to just connect sometime. We just chat for 30 minutes over a video call, get to know one another. And that stuff is like invaluable, so I feel super, super fortunate for that. And really also just really like enjoying what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I feel like it's hard. It's hard to have a good mix of like, I like what I'm doing and I like the company I'm doing it with. You know, like I feel like there's sometimes a mismatch of that. But really enjoying the company I'm with and what I'm doing for them.
Yeah.
And so that's been a lot of fun.
That's cool. Yeah, it's been fun watching you talk about it. And like, I just got Twitter. I'm not big on it, but when I do go on once in a blue moon, I always see you posting like something about barometrics or, you know, the Twitter lingo is, but you seem like really in that and thriving. So
yeah, it's cool. Been a lot of fun being really plugged in.
My next one was reading. So I have a goal to read 16 books this year, and so I've read 7 of 16. So pretty much on track. By the time this comes out, I will probably have read at least another one. So that's good.
Oh,
yeah. And one thing I'm doing differently this year was I've kind of always had like a never-ending reading list, and so when I'm with a friend or I find a book online, whatever, I'll add it to that list, and then. I feel like it's easy to like lose priority, and then also they kind of like disappear. And so this year, I have a list in more of like it's called Kanban, whatever. Yeah,
Kanban,
like a Kanban style. So I can see like my overall like list and kind of what's going to be up next, what's in process, and what's finished. And so that's good to like see it. Every couple of days I'll look at it, kind of see where I'm at. It's been good. So, when I hear of a new book, rather than just throwing it on my list, I'll put it on like a certain category, certain order. Every book I have like a tag on it. So whether it's like business, like a finance book, spiritual, personal growth, whatever it is, I have like tags. And so it's good to kind of see my overall list and see like what do I want to read next, how many of each category have I read, It's super helpful, and it's helped me stay on track. And I don't know, I feel like for some reason this year has been easier than any other year just to be consistent in reading, and so I'm glad that I'm on track.
I feel like you've just been killing it with reading.
Yeah, I feel like I've never been so consistent than this year. I think a big part is being out of school. I think when I was in school, it was really hard to find time to read when it wasn't academics, and so and I read all my books. I don't do like Audible, nothing like that.
And that's impressive.
I'm tempted to, because I could do a lot more, but I don't know, something about sitting down reading. I feel like A, it's just good for my soul. Like, it's good to like slow down in the morning and read. But like B, I think just like I absorb a lot more than when I actually read it and underline and highlight and make notes. Because I listen to like podcasts all day long, and we've talked about like so much of that noise in our ears. Like, it's easy to kind of overlook stuff, and so I don't want my books to kind of fall in that category. So yeah, books have been a big part of this year, and it's been good. I probably read like an hour at least every morning.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's been good.
I want to steal that, because I feel like, I'm trying to think like, how many books have I read and which ones are next up on my queue. And like, I know that there's like 5 or 6 books that I like want to read that are on my list, but I don't have like any sort of order or like categorization. There's like I flew through Mere Christianity, and I think I'm on like literally the last chapter, and I've been on the last chapter for like 2 months. And I've read like 3 other books in the meantime. Yeah,
I've been
like,
doing that.
why am I this way?
Yeah.
So I need to get like a better system for. Also, it's way easier for me to do an audiobook, because I can do it while I'm working, while I'm walking, while I'm working out. But I really want to sit down and read, and I feel like I have to just like carve that time out and like force myself to. So I've probably read like, I don't know, 6 or 7 books too this year. But I probably only like read like 1 or 2, and I've listened to the rest.
Yeah,
which I don't know about, like the retention isn't the same.
Well, that's kind of what I mean. I guess it depends how you learn. But like I don't listen to podcasts except when I'm walking or driving, because I found like, or if I'm like cooking or cleaning or doing stuff around the house, I'll throw one on. But if I am like doing like mental work, like behind a computer, like it's hard for me to like retain it. And so I don't know if you're that way, but for me, it's like I will throw on like a music or like a movie and I can zone it out, but like a podcast or like a book, I will also zone it out. I can't like listen and absorb. So that's why I get it. It's so much easier. Like that's definitely true. I'm trying to like stay disciplined to not do audiobooks. Yeah.
Well, here's what I've realized more recently is that books and podcasts kind of fit into 2 categories. It's like, one is basically like entertainment, but it's just like stories, experiences, things that you don't need to learn necessarily. You're just kind of absorbing. And then the other one is like educative, instructive, how to kind of, more like hands-on actionable stuff. Mm-hmm. And I found that I really need to read and like physically read the instructive ones. And if I listen to it, I don't get anything really out of it, and I have to go back and read it anyways. But I found that with the more like entertainment stuff, I can't sit down and read it. It's like, I'm like, why am I reading this?
Yeah.
Why don't I just listen to this? So I've kind of been, and that's why I think it's hard, is because it's much easier for me to fit in the like entertainment ones, because I don't need to sit down and read it and like really absorb it, because I'm kind of just listening and absorbing. Mm-hmm. For example, like I started listening to, I listened to 2 books in the last like 2 weeks. One I'm going through right now, I'm almost finished. It's called Lost and Founder. And it's the story of an entrepreneur and kind of like his biography almost. Like, I don't really need to read that or go through, because I can just, story's a lot easier to listen to. But I listened to another one called The Mom Test, which is about talking to customers, and it was very instructive. And I need to go back and like read it, because there was so much I feel like that I just kind of missed, or I need to like see the structure of how he thinks about it, and I want to see the chapters and stuff. So there's definitely, you can do both, and you should probably kind of think about it that way.
One thing that has helped me with this is I heard it on a podcast, but there's this guy who he's like super productive. He has a couple businesses. He has a family, I think 4 kids, and he's written 12 books. And so he's done a lot, and he's like a really busy guy. And one thing he says he does is he gives himself 3 hours every day that's just to himself. And he said, as long as I can get those 3 hours in, and in that window, I can do whatever I want. So if I want to sleep, if I want to, play video games, if I want to read a book, if I want to go on a walk, like whatever I want, it's my time. But he said, as long as I have like that block of 3 hours every day, like he said, I'm totally cool with, if my wife asks me to run an errand for her, to help her with around the house, like whatever it is, like I'm happy to do it because I got my time. And he's, for him, like he obviously doesn't use, those 3 hours to play video games. He uses it to be productive.
Yeah.
But I thought that was like a good like rule of thumb. And so I've been trying to give myself 2 hours. I think 3 is a lot. I think he gets up like 4 in the mornings. I give myself 2 hours. And so I just do it from like 6:30 to like 8:30 every morning. It's kind of like my time. And so I use it like every morning, just basically to like walk. I take a Max on a walk, and I pray and read and like make breakfast. And so that's kind of my way of doing it. And because in those 2 hours, I force myself to sit down and read. And so that's how I do it.
That's a good rule. I need to, I really I want that so bad. I just don't know how to do that without waking up earlier, because
you're trying to avoid. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
Because, you start work traditionally at like 9, you're done at 5, and then at least 4 nights a week, actually, we're either at church or we're like out together on a date night or with friends.
Okay,
and
but that's the thing. So I had the same thought, and then I said, you know what? Let me just try this. What I've been doing is there are some days I'll sleep in, and I'll take it away from my 2 hours. How I've done it, and so I worked this weekend between Saturday and Sunday. I worked like 25 hours in like 2 days.
Right.
It was a ton.
Yeah.
And so Monday I slept in. I didn't get up until like 8 or 8:30. It was like my time to sleep in. So Monday I didn't do any reading. I got up 8:30, made breakfast, and started working at 9. And this is what I did. And so today I got up at 6 and started earlier, and I got my 2 hours in. So that's kind of like how I do it. Like some days if I'm tired, I'll sleep in a little bit, or I'll go a little slower.
Yeah.
But it comes out of my time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because if not, if I try to get those 2 hours in starting at 9 o'clock, then it eats into my workday. And so that's how I've been doing it. It's worked. There's been a few days where I'll kind of, slack off a little bit and relax. But then like the following day, I try to make up for it. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of bleeding into what have I learned so far, but I feel like I just keep coming back to this theme of like wake up earlier, and like that just needs to be a part of my life. And because at night too, here's what I found, and again, kind of bleeding into other sections here, but especially the further along in the day that I get, the more like mental and physical energy I've already spent. And then, it's 10 o'clock, and now I'm getting to kind of the me time of like writing or reading or like sitting down and like knocking out a project or just like watching TV, like, I don't know, doing whatever it is that I want to do. And that's just it, like that time doesn't work for me. And I don't end up being productive, or I don't have like the mental capacity to sit down and like really think through something kind of deep. So I feel like it always ends up coming back to like, I just need to do it first,
yeah.
which is hard, but anyways.
I think I have 2 or 3 more under this category.
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
the next one kind of bleeds over into like what I learned, but I feel like I've grown a lot in my understanding of money and how it works. And yeah, I mean, I think before this season of life, like I was living at home, and then the job I had, I covered like most of all my expenses, and so I like didn't really have to like. I was a good saver, and like I made money, and I saved it well. I didn't go spend frivolously, but I didn't really understand like the concept of like money going in, money going out, like cash flow. I just didn't really get that, and so like the first few months of this year were like really weird for me. Like I was making more money than I ever made before in my life, but I was also spending a lot more, and so like it didn't feel like that good because so much money was going out.
Yeah.
I feel like the last 3 or 4 months, I've like really tried to learn. I've read a few books about it, and like just listened to more like money focused podcasts, and trying to find like good blogs to follow and just learn about money and how it works. And so, I feel like I've learned a good amount, but I think more than anything, I feel excited, like super excited about kind of just this like wealth building stage of my life. And I feel, yeah, I just want to like learn more about that. And, yeah, so that's gone well for me. That's been definitely like a positive upside of the first 6 months.
Yeah, that's good. Another one for me has been, well, it was going great up until a couple of weeks ago, but I was really good about reading my Bible every morning 5 times a week for about 20, 30 minutes. And I felt really good about like the habit that I had formed and kind of my routine. I think I mentioned it before in another podcast, but it was wake up first thing as I go make a smoothie. I sit down with my smoothie on the couch in the living room, and then my Bible.
What do you have for breakfast?
A smoothie.
Oh.
Dude, I haven't told you before? Oh my gosh.
What kind?
A healthy smoothie. Okay. And on our coffee table, like that's where my Bible lives and sits. And so I sit down, it's there, I open it up and I read it. And so that was going really well up until a few weeks back when we spent a couple weekends either at a wedding or a bridal shower or up, doing a trip with friends, and basically lost that. And my Bible got put in the car, and I didn't get it out. And then every morning I was like, oh, I don't want to go get it right now. I'm in my robe or whatever it was. The day goes on, I'd forget about it again. And so anyways, I'm off that, but I was doing really good, and I just need to get back to it. And I feel like that progress,
like a mid-year review, it helps get to catch that kind of.
Yeah. And I'm like,
well, to recognize, what,
like,
I have sucked the last 2 weeks, but now I can like correct it,
Yeah. Yeah. But I was really, and we were trying to do the whole year the whole Bible in a year. And so I think I'm in Judges right now. So I'm still kind of on track, and I went through Matthew. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to do it in a year, but also like proud of kind of the progress that we've made.
It's cool. The next one for me was our business. So we are up 100% from last year, which is super exciting.
That's
so
crazy.
Kind of when we were involved, we officially took over August 15th of last year, but we started like the conversation with the previous owners around January of last year. So we kind of got to see like where they were at that time. And
was it really that long ago?
Yeah, not crazy.
When you started? Wow.
Yeah. So it was like so we started talking with them in January, and I think I officially decided I was going to do it in like end of May, June. So it took about 3 months or so, 4 months to kind of talk through it, work details out, figure it out, get comfortable. But anyway, during that time, like I was, talking with them pretty often. So I kind of got to see where they're at, whatever. And I still have the schedule they had last year. So I got to see like what was booked and what's booked now. And so we're up 100%, which is awesome. Actually, where we finished the year at last year in December, we already have that booked for the year, and so
wow.
like that's super exciting. Like, I mean, if things continue to trend upward, we could do very well this year, which is super exciting. So
when you say up 100%, does that mean that you've?
So let's say in this time last year, they had $5,000 booked.
Oh, right. I see. Okay.
This month we have $10,000 booked. I'm still numbers out there.
Okay.
Or whatever. That's what I mean.
I see.
In the month of June this year, we're up 100% from last year.
Okay.
So.
And that's not just like that month, but like the months through that year.
So January through June of this year,
yeah,
we're up 100% from last year.
Okay, so double.
Yeah. It's hard to say the whole year because, we often will book stuff. I had a call today if someone wants to book in a week and a half. So it's like, it's hard to put it, yeah.
Yeah, but so far you've already done double.
Yeah, and it's trending upward, and it's going really well. And so
that's crazy.
It's super exciting. It kind of feels like, when we started last year, it was super scary, like going away from like, everything was steady. and like a consistent, salary and all that, to now it's like we just don't know when stuff's gonna come. So it's been good. Like it's paid off so far. So
yeah. Side note, really quick, just to nerd out for a second. But in this book that I'm reading, Lost and Founder, he talks about the pros and cons between like a service-based business and like a product-based business, and how product-based businesses, because they're more sustainable and because they're more like repeatable, usually they sell for like a multiple of like 2 to 8 times what revenue is. And normally a service business, since it's not guaranteed and since it's more laborious and doesn't scale as well, sells for 1 to 2 times revenue. But he was saying how it's a much better deal for someone to buy a service business than it is for someone to buy a product business, because it's much easier to grow the business, like
interesting,
and to make your money back essentially. So like you said, you bought the business in August, and this time this year you're already doing double.
Yeah.
Well, that's also awesome because you don't have to recoup, 8 times what you paid for it. You only have to recoup 1 to 2 times what you paid for it. Anyways, just thought I'd mention that because it's an interesting opportunity. I didn't really realize that.
Yeah, it's cool. I think you're done for this category, right?
I have one more.
Okay, cool.
Making my first official dollars on the internet, launching my first side project, heymarketers.com, the best place to find and discover marketing jobs in tech, e-commerce, and SaaS. I've got the tagline down, dude. So that's been fun. Built it all myself, launched it. Now I just need to scale it and get a repeatable process there. But it felt good to like get something out the door and like out of my head, and that's also gonna be. I'll get into it later, but
that's cool.
Yeah, it's been a good one.
Yeah. My last one is actually like a really big one, but we it's not 100% official yet. By the time this comes out, it probably most likely will have gone through. But we are about to buy another business, so we are super excited about that. It's like a company in the same industry, so it's gonna add. It's gonna be a great way to offer like more products to our clients. So we're super excited about that. We hopefully will have the contract signed within the next week. So I feel good saying it, but just want to be aware that it still could potentially fall through. But it's in progress, and it's very much looking like we're gonna do it. So we're super excited, and it's scary. Like thinking like we have bought in 2 companies in like 8 months, in less than a year, and so it's just super like. I have a few thoughts. I feel like the first part is like that's the faithfulness of God. Like this is something I have really felt like called to do, to be in business, and so it feels good. Like I'm walking in God's calling, and I feel like we're being blessed for that. But it's kind of scary. Like 2 companies like in 1 year, like it's a big investment, and so it is scary. And we are putting off things we want to do, like buy a home and stuff like that, because we're pouring money back into the company. But like we've talked about, I feel strongly that we are in like a stage of life of like building our wealth, and we have to invest. And so I feel excited. I feel confident, but super excited.
It's crazy. Congrats.
So, thank you.
Super excited. And you've been sort of working on this for how long now?
The deal?
Yeah.
We met like 2 months ago, and that's another thing I thought was really funny. Like, so the process of how long it took me for me to pull the trigger with the Stecklers to where I am now.
Yeah.
So I met with her like 2 months ago. And then, like 5 days later, we went to go see everything that they had. And then, like 3 weeks later, we had like a tentative agreement, basically. And so the last month, we've been working to like finalize a contract. So basically, in a month, I decided I wanted to do it, which previously I have not been that way. So that's kind of why I wanted to do an episode on making decisions. Like that was a big part of it. Like I feel like having to make a lot of big choices recently has helped me to grow in that area. And I've kind of just found like, like. This is good. This is okay to move forward and to make choices and to kind of just be confident. Like it can work out or it won't. And I'll learn. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So,
that's cool. Congrats.
Super exciting.
Awesome. Well, shall we move on to what hasn't gone so well this year? That's always the favorite section. I can start. I alluded to it before, but after traveling and then a bunch of things that essentially just kind of interrupted my normal routine, I fell off the habit of reading my Bible every morning. Also reading I was going through Mere Christianity. That's also when I stopped reading that because I felt like I want to do those in tandem together. And so that's been a bummer. And so for the last month, I've kind of been off of that, and counting that as a loss. But I need that's that's a good reason why we're doing this, is because now I'm kind of like yeah, you know what? I need to stop making excuses, and I need to. It's in the house now. I just need to get it back on the coffee table, and then I'll be set. I know that it'll happen after that.
Well, I think when we did the year in review, like these lists were a lot longer, and I just feel like the category of like what hasn't gone well, you know, at the end of this year, that this could be a lot bigger. I think we each only have like 4 or 5, comments, but like if we didn't do a review right now, in December it could be 10 things on there, so that's good,
Right.
Yeah.
The bright side.
Let's see here. So what has not gone well? For me, the main one is probably just like a work-life balance. I feel I am definitely in like a season of working more than I've ever worked. But the hard thing is I really like it. I think like with my past job, it was easier to not work because there were parts I just didn't want to do, so I just wouldn't do it. And so now it's like it's hard to separate like work from my personal life, and I always want to work, and so it's been hard. I've been bummed, like. I just need more of a balance. Me and Connie talked about really wanting to make this first year of our marriage like a slow year, and it's kind of slowing down and committing to less and doing less. I have not done that. I've been really poor in like saying no to stuff. I've done too much, especially with work, and so it's been hard and trying to figure that out. And yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we can say this for another time too, but the business is a part of that, and probably because it's not just a job, like this is your business, you own it, and like this, something I've been finding, which is like starting things, but also I sort of had the tendency to anyways, but it's hard for me to like turn it off, like I'm not working, but I'm still thinking about like, what can I write and what can we work on, what I'm going to do tomorrow, like what are the things that are going to really unlock growth this year, and what are the things that we shouldn't do anymore, or thinking about customers that cancel or that didn't work out, or like it's hard to anyways, I can imagine how that could be really difficult, especially given your circumstance.
And I think like more recently what I've been trying to do is just like write everything down. I feel like when I don't write my ideas down, it's all in my head, and kind of like you said, like I cannot be working, but I'm almost always thinking about it. And so I think just writing everything down, ideas, problems, what I'm stressed about, write it down, and then that way it's on paper, because it's easy to like I can turn it off easier when I know that I'm not going to forget, So I think doing that, and then I think just being disciplined, honestly, is what it comes down to, about saying like no when I'm going to stop, and also remembering like I didn't buy a job, like I bought a business, and I have to remember that, because it's I think I can trick myself into just like working a ton, and that wasn't really the goal. And so I think just the balance of understanding like I'm trying to build something, and we are building something to hopefully one day be more sustainable, with me being more hands off. And so I think just finding a balance, also like working on the right things. One thing I have improved on was when we took over last year, I did everything I could do, like, and I was super like I wouldn't pay people to do stuff. I would do all myself. And like this year, just like find a balance. Like what can I pay someone to do? Like where should I be spending my time? And I think like being smarter about that can be helpful to me. So I mean, there's like endless random details to do,
right.
So
that can be difficult. Yeah, for sure. One of the things I wrote down was not getting enough sleep / staying up too late, because it's not that I have any trouble sleeping.
Okay, question. I've seen tweets come through from you at like 2 a.m. or like 4 a.m. Are you awake, or is that like...
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a scheduled tweet if you can do that, but I've like seen that a few times.
Well,
and I've thought to myself, oh wow, he was up at 2 a.m. Like,
you know that Twitter isn't chronological, right?
Well, it said like 2 hours ago, whatever, or stuff like that.
And you're reading it at 4 a.m.?
I threw a number out there, but
okay.
I've seen that a few times. Maybe I don't know. I'm a
Twitter, I feel like
I'm a Twitter noob, so I don't really know.
I don't know. I definitely don't tweet during the middle of the night. I think it's probably just start like popping up, or maybe there's like a response. I don't know.
Most likely.
I don't know how to
respond. I'm definitely like not hip with Twitter. So.
Not hip with Twitter.
Anyway, sorry. Continue.
But yeah, not sleeping enough. Like I just been seeing it over and over again, and I keep remembering just how important it is, and like I've been thinking about it more, and then I'll like take note how I feel when I wake up. And every time, like this morning, for example, I slept in actually till like 8:20, and and we went to bed around around midnight, 12:20, 12:30. So it was around 8 hours. And I actually feel like really good today, and I felt really good waking up. But when I sleep 6 or 7 hours, because, we went to bed at midnight, but then I woke up, tried to get an early start, 6 or 7. That when I start my day, I'm usually like fine, but then like 11, 12, 1 o'clock, I'm like literally useless.
I feel you.
I can't do anything. Can't function. Can't think. I don't want to do anything.
Well, especially for you,
unmotivated.
Like you are like behind, at your desk in your office all day. Like there's no meetings, no walking around. It's just like you're just there. I could see how that'd be hard.
Yeah. And so like I really need that energy to motivate myself, because it's on me to do that. Like I have to force myself and be disciplined to do that all the time. So I definitely I have not been doing a good job of that.
Do you take when you eat lunch, do you like get out of the office, go outside and take a full break, or do you work while you eat, or how do you do that?
No, I don't work when I eat, but normally I'll go make lunch and then I'll eat it with Monique, or I'll sit on our little kind of balcony and I'll just sit there quietly without, my headphones in or anything. But I don't take like really long lunches.
Cause I think I forget who it was. I think it was George Washington or Benjamin Franklin. I've heard this like podcast. They were talking about this guy's like daily routine, and it was something crazy. Like, wakes up at 5, and the first 2 hours of the day were like, I forget, reading and praying and reflecting. Yeah. Then he would work from like 8 to 12, and then from 12 to 2 was like his like lunch break. Then he would work intensely from 2 to 5 or 2 to 6, and then like 6 to 9 was like, he had a word for it. What he I think you probably heard this one, but
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But anyway, I thought that was like a cool concept of like taking like a legitimate like break in the middle of your day, and then like working intensely the afternoon, and then you're off and having like recreation time. And so I've been trying to do that a bit more, because I'm super bad at like stopping. And
yeah.
So I don't know if you do that or not.
Yeah, I felt that too. Like sometimes I'll take like a 15-minute lunch, and then I like start working again. I'm like, nah, I need to go back and like just chill out for a little while longer, or sometimes I won't walk Remy in the morning, especially if I sleep in. So then I'll take Remy around lunchtime, and I feel like that feels really good, because then I'm out walking and kind of reset a little bit. But
dude, having a dog's like an excuse to like get outside and take a break. It's been good for me.
Oh, I love it, dude.
I'll take him out 3 times.
It's one of my 3 times.
3 walks a day.
You take him out 3 walks a day?
Yeah, man, down to the village.
What?
Down to La Mesa every day.
3 times.
If I'm home working all day, 3 times. I go in the morning, so I wake up, take him outside just to go pee and do his thing. I'll take a shower, eat breakfast, read, and after breakfast, I'll take him out.
I don't know if that's like a walk though.
The first one, I'm not counting that one.
Oh, okay,
so after breakfast, hang
all right,
okay. Then I'll walk him down to La Mesa and back, and it's like a round trip, probably 10-minute walk. Okay, 5-10 minutes.
Yeah,
and then I do that at lunch, and then I do it in the afternoon.
Wow.
Or at night, so 3 times.
Lucky Dan.
Yeah, I take care of you, home Max.
I'll take Remy on like 1 30 to 40-minute walk.
Oh wow! So that's the same thing. I don't go as long.
Yeah, interesting. So. Anyways,
okay. Well, what I put down also was friendships. me and Connie made a list of some people that we wanted to be intentional about this year, like hanging out with and just spending time with and investing in. And I've been super bad at that, and so I'm bummed. The reality is, like, relationships and people, that's like the most important part of my life, and I've like been neglecting that, in a big way. So just need to do better, like making friends a priority. It's been hard. Like most of my work is on the weekends, and that's when most of my friends have time off. And so,
yeah.
And then every night of the week is busy for me. So it's hard to find time. And so, I just gotta do better at, planning stuff and scheduling it and sticking to it.
Yeah. I can imagine how that'd be, it's a different lifestyle, different schedule. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways, one of the things I wrote down was kind of not feeling content, kind of feeling anxious about like wanting to do more and, I don't know, like accomplish more. Maybe that's just like a personality fault, but I've been noticing myself just feeling more kind of antsy, like especially when when I feel like I want to be further along. Like that's kind of how I was feeling on my birthday. I was like, oh dang it, I'm 24, halfway during the year, and like kind of not where I want to be right now. And so just I don't think it's like a really healthy attitude to have there, or like kind of mental mindset to be in. And so I'm trying to figure out kind of how to manage that and what to do about it, instead of feeling like kind of like down or like discontent or anxious, feeling like motivated and, like organized and planned and excited about the future instead. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like I have the negative mindset.
Yeah. I think like if you met with someone that you want to be like, and just kind of shared your thoughts where you're at, I'm pretty sure they would tell you, okay, how old are you? How are you doing? And they would probably be like, say, slow down, I feel like recently I met with someone and I was like sharing all these ideas, everything I wanted to do. And kind of like you just said, I was like, man, I just want to be farther along. And he was like, how old are you? And I was like, 24. And he's like, dude, like chill, like you're doing fine. And so I think for you, like same thing, like, cause you mentioned like, okay, you really are where you want to be with your career. You're in like a right step. Probably in 2 to 3 years, you'll be hopefully working for yourself full time. You have a few projects kind of in the works, like things you want to happen are happening. It's just
I agree, but like inside of me, I disagree. You know what I mean? Like, I understand it's like I'm young. There's time.
We'll do one on patience next. Okay.
Yeah, we need to do one on patience because I don't have any of it. Because I know that it's normal, to like, I don't know, like I'm ahead of where I am compared to other people, but I don't really like other people being
the benchmark.
Benchmark. I want like myself and where I want to be the benchmark.
Yeah, I think I get that.
So yeah, anyways, I think that is like one of the things that I struggle to find, and I would love to find someone who's like a Christian, like tech entrepreneur, you know what I mean? Who can like take me under their wing and like, cause that's who I want to be. Like I can find a Christian, a pastor, even someone who's in business, or I can find like a tech entrepreneur, but they're probably not going to be a Christian.
Jenny's husband.
Is he an entrepreneur?
Yeah. I wouldn't say he has some things in the works, so he's definitely like leans that way. I feel like you guys would click really well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in your space, and I think he holds the same position you have, and
I think that's a good
10 years ahead. So
yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna keep that in mind. I'm gonna write that one down.
Jenny, shout out.
Shout out to Jenny and
I
Brian.
love you, sis, if you're listening.
That's right. Shout out to what's their daughter's name?
I almost forgot. Josephine.
She imagine her just caught you on.
She often will like send me a video or like a video, or she'll FaceTime me when she's listening to the podcast with JoJo, her daughter, listening. It's funny.
Shout out to Josephine, so JoJo.
One I put down was reading the Bible, and I don't mean like not reading it. I've been consistent, probably about 5 times a week, but I'm trying to read the Old Testament this year, and I've tried that the last 3 years. And I failed every year. I've like started and gotten like, a few books in and like just been so like dead with it.
Where are you right now?
I am in Leviticus.
Ooh.
I started it in like the end of February, so I'm not like really behind.
Well, remember what Dan told us? He's like, it's okay to skip some parts of the Bible.
So I just skipped like the last 3 chapters of Exodus because it was like
nice.
It was it was hard to get through. So I mean, I feel like I'm probably like a book behind. I should probably be a little farther along, but because I started a bit late, but still like it's been hard, man. It's like I love the New Testament. I've probably read it, a dozen times. Like I have notes all my Bible. I love it, but my Old Testament, my book is like empty. There's like no notes, no highlighting, no nothing because I don't really read it. And so besides like Psalms and Proverbs and whatnot, so it's been hard to get through it. I'm like trying to remember like the purpose of reading it because a lot of it is just like the old laws and like regulation and sacrifice and all that stuff. And so it's been a little bit dull for me. So
yeah, well, it's like I've been kind of encouraged by reading the Old Testament a little bit more because like I've noticed there's so many like really crazy cool analogies that are just like way over your head unless you kind of know what you're looking for. That like Mike or Mark or any of like kind of the senior pastors at Foothills that that we know will reference all the time. Like, gosh, I never would have thought of that. Like, I really want to like
understand
and like see and catch it. When I do read it, because I feel like one of my favorite examples was Mark did a message a long time ago on it was this one specific sacrifice. Oh gosh, I want to butcher it. This one specific sacrifice where God asks someone, I think it's maybe Moses, to walk through basically the entrails of like all these animals that he had sacrificed. And it had this like such this crazy kind of, when you put it in perspective, you understood the context, understanding like what it means to make a covenant with God and to like go through the sacrifices. I was like, wow, I really want to like be at that place where I can see that and like grasp that. I know that's not all of it. Like God has to reveal it to you. But anyways, there's a lot of cool stuff that you have to look for.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of it is easy to like pass over, you know? Like if you're not being intentional to pick up on it.
Pass over?
Hey. That was stupid. It's like easy to just like...
Jeremy does not appreciate puns.
Not at all. Easy to skim over. Pun that, Corey. You can't. You're trying.
Skimming milk.
I knew you were going to say that.
No.
I thought of like a cow, but he's going to say skimming milk.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Cool. Okay. The last... Oh, yeah. No. I have two more. I also kind of wrote down not planning for the future enough or communicating it. And I mean this also because, again, you can get like so wrapped up in doing like every day, just having a routine, looking to the next week of like what needs to get done or what do we need to do. But then you're never looking kind of far out enough. Maybe this is different for you because you're always booking events in advance and you're looking at all the months and schedules and stuff. But I feel really like kind of in the trenches and I can't see outside of it. And, you know, we have trips that we want to go on and vacations. We want to plan, you know, we're sort of tentatively thinking and planning that we want to move and stay in Europe for a couple months next year because we both work from home. We have the opportunity to, but like we literally haven't done anything to plan for it yet. Like, okay, like it's getting close here, but like, you know, so it's a loss. Like we could have done more and been thinking about it more. And, you know, it kind of translates to other things like saving too. Like I still haven't found like a really great system for like feeling really in control of my finances. Like I understand I could kind of do things the hard way and like have a big spreadsheet and update things every day or review every week. But like, I don't really want to do that. You know, like I want it to be easy and like at a glance. So kind of struggling with that. And then same thing with side projects, like not planning enough, you know, thinking like, oh, I can get this done in a day or I can get this done in a night or I can launch by this date. And I always underestimate how much time or the schedule or what comes up. And so I just need to be like more diligent in planning for those things.
Yeah, I can totally get that. My last one for this category was routine. So I kind of alluded to this in the first section, but I kind of thought like when we got married, a lot of, you know, certain issues would be fixed like this one. But like, yeah, I really wanted routine in my life for a long time. And I just feel like that's still like weak in our life. We need to be better at that. And I mean more of like, you know, like when do we clean? When do we go shopping? When do we, you know, hang out with friends? Like stuff like that. It's just like every week is kind of different. Like I have routine in like my commitments and like ministries and whatnot, but like stuff around the home and like just our like the details of our life, like there is no routine. And so just want to be better at that. Want to like really like nail that down. I feel like when we have routine, like we are, you know, less heavy on like the stress side and things kind of like are more fluid. And so yeah, man, I just want to be better at that. I feel like we're still not.
Yeah, that's a good one. For me, my last one was kind of feeling burned out on small group and ministry, which kind of was a loss, not because I feel that way, but because probably didn't have to be this way. But, you know, it's hard like every week for 4 years, you know, committing to planning for your small group, doing a message, figuring out who's going to do the message, leading worship, you know, figuring out what you're going to do for, you know, a game or hanging out, whatever it is. And so my guys are seniors. They're graduating out of, you know, kind of the small group ministry and into the college ministry. And so, but I feel like I don't know, it's a win in that I feel really like proud of where they're at, who they are, like what we've done as a small group. And, you know, me and Danny Watt, did it for 4 years. He was actually with them in junior high too. And I knew going into it, I'm not going to leave them. I'm going to be there for all 4 years. But also like, you know, feeling like, okay, this is a good time, you know, to kind of, to end things and to move on. And, you know, it can definitely be pretty taxing. So I'm looking forward to having my Monday nights back, maybe having a little bit more time to devote to other things in this season. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on year 1, so I've taken a group from 6th grade all the way through high school. So I know that's like, you know, for us, we had John, and John committed to, you know, to staying with us the whole time. So he never left, and we had other leaders come and go. And so my last group, I felt like I definitely wanted to be like John. Like I wanted to be like consistent for these kids, and I kind of made the same commitment this time around. But I'm having a really hard time, like being motivated to kind of see it through, and not because of like a lack of I think love for the kids, but my life is full, and so I can appreciate like what you've done. And I totally understand it. So
yeah, especially for all these like seasons, and
it must feel good to be done.
Yeah, when I started with the small group, I had just become an intern at Foothills, and I was in my entering my junior year of college, going into a new school at San Diego Christian College, and then through that, I started at Cordial. I was at Cordial, got married, moved out of my parents' house. Like, there's just been so much that's happened through this season with them, through these 4 years.
That's cool.
That it's nice that it's coming to a close, but, also really proud of what we've done too.
All right. So the last section, what have I learned? What have we learned?
What have we learned? You tell me.
I kind of talked a bit about this in the last section or the first section, but I feel like again I've learned a decent amount about money and what it looks like to be in like a wealth building stage of my life. And I think I've kind of thought like before this that I'm going to work, and then when I start working, then my wealth will build. And I've kind of learned like that is true, but I think the time it takes it's longer than I thought. And I think like there's a good chunk of our life, like, if you are going to be intentional about growing your wealth, there's going to be a good chunk of like just investing and pouring back into it. It's kind of like learning an instrument or getting better at a sport. Like you gotta like if you're going to learn guitar, you have to play until your fingers want to fall off, or they're super sore, they bleed, and it's like you have to pour a lot into it, and then you finally hit a hump to where like, okay, now you have a callus, and now you can play more seamlessly and whatnot. And so I'm kind of feeling like my finances are like that. Like I have to put into it, I have to put money out there to see it come in, and so I'm just learning about that. And thankfully, I find it exciting. Like I'm enjoying it. I don't dread it, but I think I've been like enlightened the last 6 months. Like kind of this is different than I thought it was going to be. But it's also good. I'm not saying it's been bad. It's been good, but it's just different than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I've had the same sort of revelations a little bit. Like, I really don't. And again, this is just preference. Nothing wrong with it. But I don't want to slog away at a job for 40 years and then, have a nice retirement built up. Like, I just can't function that way. I can't operate that way.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that you learn too. I'm glad that we've learned them early on. That it's like, okay, like this is what we need to do. This is what's necessary. This is how you do it. And now we just gotta go get it.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've learned is that habits need to be maintained when traveling or when things interrupt your normal routine. Like I mentioned with reading my Bible. But I think I've also kind of just held this belief in general that I am disciplined enough to take a break and then come back like kind of like nothing ever happened.
But you're not.
But I'm not. I don't think anyone is immune to that. And so being really disciplined, and Monique has really motivated me too, because she's been really good about this. But even when we travel, making time to work out, eating the right things, spending time with the right people, like making sure that we have even things like date night. We've been sort of bad about that in the last few weeks, just because there's been so many things with friends or travel or whatever it was. But then it's like, okay, well, now we haven't had date night in a month, and it doesn't feel very good. Like we should have done something about this. I should have done something about this. So, maintain your habits during all, weathering all different kinds of things that come up is important.
Makes sense. I put down having like routine times of just like silence, and I think that's been really good for me. I've always like filled my ears with stuff, whether it's music or talking to someone when I'm driving or make a podcast. But probably the last like month, I started just having more quiet time. When I walk max, I just go without headphones. I just walk, and it's been really good. This morning, I got up like probably 30 minutes before Connie, and I was sitting on a couch, just drinking coffee, just sitting. Wasn't reading, wasn't listening to music, wasn't like working, just sitting there. And she came out there and she was like, "What have you been doing?" And I was like, "I've literally been sitting here." And she like laughed like you're laughing. And I was like, "I've been doing it the last month. It's been really cool." And she was like, "Oh, you're weird." But
I could just imagine that it's all like dark and kind of dingy, and she walks out and
like
you're just
the
like
natural light,
straight, just looking
exactly. It reminds me of Daniel, my brother.
That's totally something.
But that's been like super good for me. I think just like the concept of like an hour of noise and an hour without noise. I think I've said that before, but I've been trying to put that into practice, and it's been like super helpful. And so I think that's why I've learned from this, because it's been good for me. It's been good to like clear my head and just have like more time to like refocus and to think. I feel like that's really underrated. You don't really think about the importance of that, and it's been really good for me.
Yeah, it's good. I've also been learning the importance of prioritizing and focusing. So like having realistic goals for the day and making sure that I'm like finishing something before I start something else. Like I'm realizing I need a lot more. For a point, I felt like my life wasn't full enough. Like I could be doing more and I could be doing, this and, implementing this or like starting this habit. But now I feel like I have kind of all the things that I want in place, but now I just need to have a better like structure and order to them and make sure that I'm giving each one enough time. I found this with all things like, but from like spiritually, like, okay, why is the Bible like not like on my priority list, or why am I living that way? Like I should reprioritize so that that's definitely the thing that gets done. But then also physically, like with sleep, I'm like, wait a second, this is like I need this. Why am I ignoring this? And then also with, jobs or side projects, like I'm not going to be able to do 5 things in my, free 3 hours this night. I should probably just focus on one. And so which one is it? And like what needs to get done? And am I going to be able to get it done? Thinking that way instead of just kind of wanting to cram things or just wanting to do it all at once.
Yeah. I put down that it's okay to make mistakes. And again, that's like an obvious, like pretty basic understanding, but I think it's harder to like practice that and to actually be okay with making mistakes, whether it's professionally or in, close relationships or whatnot. But just like being okay with my mistakes and owning up to it and taking responsibility, whether it's with Connie or with work, just saying, yep, like I messed up, I'm sorry. And like, here's how I'm going to fix it. And so just trying to do that more. And it's been good.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
And again, it's like a not like a jaw dropper statement. It's a pretty just basic understanding, but
right.
I think it's harder to like be okay with that,
Yeah. Yeah. I think something else that I've been realizing more and more is that there's a lot of, I don't know, whenever I heard like the idea of like seasons and like everything has a time and place, kind of the whole Ecclesiastes thing, I always thought like, yeah, but I don't know what that looks like. And now I feel like I'm really experiencing that of like which season am I in spiritually? And then like, what do I do about that? And like, which season am I in professionally? And what do I do about that? Am I in a season of like working out really hard and eating really healthy? Or am I in a season more of like maintaining and letting loose a little bit? Like, I don't know, realizing that there are seasons, and instead of kind of like fighting it or like not treating like there's something there, being more intentional about it, because you can kind of help it to your advantage, or you can make it an advantage to you to help you, so that you're not just always doing something or like there's no sight and end. I'm just going to keep doing this forever. It's like, no, this is just a season. We're going to do this for a time, or it's going to be this way for a time, and I'm going to be okay with that. And so it's been helpful kind of seeing things that way and treating it that way.
Yeah, good. My last one was that like a lot of decisions don't last forever, and I feel like I've kind of always heard advice like to the contrary. It could be that your 20s, you make a lot of choices that impact your life forever, and I think that's true. But I feel like I've stretched that to every decision. Like every decision I make is forever, and I can't fix it, and that's just it. And like more recently, I've kind of thought like, what, like you can recover and you can like correct and you can fix what's broken. I was thinking like in regards to like this business, like what if we, invest in this new company and let's say like it completely fails and, we don't earn a penny back, and like, then what? Well, what happens is, we lost a little bit of money, and then that's it. And then we'll probably set back a few years, and then we can recover. And so I think just stuff like that where, previously I would stress that decision for a very long time and like kind of panic. And now it's like, it's a big deal. And, maybe I am being a bit ignorant. Maybe it will hurt us more than I think. But regardless, we can recover from that, and it's we're not permanently like failing because of that one poor decision. Does that make sense? And so that's kind of like been a mindset shift of mine. I feel like these last two I said are pretty like basic understandings, but for some reason they've just clicked in my head recently, and I think I've just felt like more okay and more at peace with those. So
yeah, that's good. That's a good thing to have to like make better decisions.
I mean, those two work. Like, remind me, because let's say this does fail, and next year I hate my life and I quit the podcast. Like, remind me when I said.
I will. Don't worry. My last one is needing to get back to the fundamentals of time management, doing the essential things, every day, spending time to think and plan. I think also like, refocusing on our marriage and relationship with Monique, and learning, like remembering to have fun and like be goofy, and I don't know, just being in like kind of a race. You focus in on the race and like where the finish line is, and this has been like a season that I'm in, but now I need to get back to kind of like slowing down, learning to look around, have more like balance in my life as well. And so for the rest of the year, that's kind of the thing I want to be leaning on, is prioritizing, having balance, getting back to fundamentals of, I want to work on, it stuck with me too. Like we were talking, I think off the podcast, about what if we spent as much time and energy and obsession on our marriage as we did on like business stuff and professional stuff. It's like, wow, it's really challenging. And I feel like I wanted to up my game on that side of things too.
That's good.
Cool.
Well, cool. I want to say, like if you're listening and you like wanted to kind of do like a review with yourself, like don't just like think about it, but like, have a cup of coffee with a friend or grab lunch with a friend and kind of go through it with someone. I feel like
great idea.
Bouncing off someone is helpful. Like, me and Corey, we don't plan these conversations. Like we each put down our notes, but we just kind of talk about it, and it's like a free flowing conversation, and it's good. So, do that with a friend, and hopefully that's encouraging.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be like a
formal,
okay, want to sit down and go over our goals for the year and how we're doing. It could just be like, hey, I have some thoughts about, how we're doing and the direction of my life. Do you want to do the same? And here's kind of a quick format. It's just what's going well, what's not going so well, what are we learning? And we can just talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I put down my thoughts in like less than 5 minutes. It was just like on my mind.
I did it on the car right here.
Yeah, I like knew it. And so it will probably be the same for you. So
yeah, cool. Well, this has been helpful for me. I don't know about you, but it's good for me to get it on paper, quote unquote, on the computer, to write my thoughts down, talk it through. I think it really helps in setting you up well for the next half of the year.
Yeah.
Cool.
Take us home, Corey.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. As always, as I mentioned before, please leave us a rating and review if you can on Apple Podcasts. It's no longer iTunes, actually. I don't know if you saw the Apple announcement on their Dub Day.
Such a nerd, man.
Oh, such a nerd. But they're getting rid of iTunes. Now it's going to be dedicated apps and programs for Apple TV, Apple Podcasts, and Apple Music. And so iTunes is going away. But go to your Apple Podcasts app, give us a rating and review, tell us what you like, what you don't like, preferably 6 stars, but 5 will do too. Otherwise, we will talk to you in the next one.
Peace.
Bye.